Welcome back, baseball fans, and welcome to another episode of the Vintage Vegas 9 Ball, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a beautiful day here in the middle of March, 2026, and the high should be in the upper 80s today. And without further ado, let's get to the Vintage Vegas 9 Ball for the day. The first card is a beautiful Steve Carlton, and of course lefty here in the middle of his motion, and it's a great looking card of old school Wrigley Field. You see the doors painted red back in the day. Now they're green and have advertisements on them. But back in the day, they were red. And you look at the left field bleachers. That was before fans were allowed out in the left field bleachers. And you see the hot dog wrappers, looks like, blowing across the infield. And the shadow underneath Carlton as he fires home here. And, of course, Carlton, one of the best left-handed pitchers to ever do it. And, of course, he started with the Cardinals and was traded to the Phillies. And an ill-advised trade by the Cardinals. And let's check out his numbers on the back here. Steve Norman Carlton. And you see, as of 1984, a career 3.04 ERA with over 300 wins, 313 wins, 207 losses. And career highlights. Became 16th pitcher in history to win 300 games. And was a Cy Young Award winner in 72, 77, 80, and 82. And he struck out 19 Mets in one game in 1969. And, of course, I think he still has the most strikeouts in a game for a left-handed pitcher, Steve Carlton. And just kind of an underrated pitcher in my mind. Cards go for relatively cheap, but a great pitcher, and I always enjoyed watching him pitch. And here he is in action at Wrigley Field. Put him on the Hall of Fame stand, Steve Carlton, lefty. Next card is another Cardinals lefty, and this was a guy who was compared a lot to Steve Carlton when he first came into the big leagues, Rick Ankiel, and just an unbelievable pitcher. And here he is as a batter. And, of course, Ankiel, just unbelievable stats when he first came into the big leagues. Let's look at the back of his card. And you see in 2000, with the Cardinals, he went 11-7 with a 3.5 ERA and 194 strikeouts and 175 innings. And for whatever reason, late in that season, he was unable to throw a strike. He started throwing balls up against the backstop and just like Ricky Vaughn, like a wild thing from a major league. He could not come anywhere close to throwing the ball in the mitt. He would throw it off the backstop and just lost all semblance of the strike zone. And eventually went down to the minors and did well in the minors. But when he came back to the big leagues again, he couldn't find the strike zone. And eventually he gave up pitching and became an outfielder for several years in the big leagues, kind of a fourth outfielder. Good left hand, was a good hitter, good athlete, but just so much promise as a pitcher. And compared to Steve Carlton early in his career, and he had that kind of strikeout ability and that kind of velocity. And for whatever reason, just couldn't throw a strike. He kept throwing the ball up against the backstop. And still had a successful big league career. Like I said, as a fourth outfielder, but never developed into that frontline starter that everybody thought he was going to be. Rick Ankiel, here he is as a batter, still during his pitching days for the Cardinals. Rick Ankiel. Next card is another Philly, Bryce Harper. And Bryce Harper just watched last night. He had a huge home run. Of course, he's from Las Vegas. He had a huge home run in the World Baseball Classic for USA. Team USA was down 2-0 in the 8th inning. And Harper hit a big 2-run blast to tie the game at 2. Unfortunately, the U.S. would go on to lose that game in the 9th inning, 3-2 to Venezuela. Kind of disappointing World Baseball Classic for the USA. But a big-time at bat, a big-time home run. Representing Las Vegas and the USA for Bryce Harper, and rounding the bases, pointing to the American flag on his shoulder. Very patriotic, very big-time at-bat and clutch home run for Bryce Harper. And here's wishing Bryce Harper, our Las Vegas son good luck this year. We'll put him on the Las Vegas stand here in front of VEGASTILTSKIN. Big clutch home run for the USA. Fortunately, they went on to lose the game. Next card is another left-handed pitcher. This is Bill Spaceman Lee, and he had many good years for the Red Sox in the 70s, mid-70s, before he was traded to the Expos. And here he is as a member of the Expos. And let's look at some of his stats for the Red Sox. Looks like 73, he went 17-11, 74, 17-15, 75, 17-9. And it was a very good pitcher. Front of the rotation starter for the Red Sox during that time period. And very eccentric type of guy, Bill Spaceman Lee. And very popular in Boston. And unfortunately, he was traded for the next guy here, Stan Poppe. And Stan Poppe, kind of a reserve middle infielder, and very unpopular trade in Boston when Boston traded Bill Lee for Stan Poppe. And yes, I remember they would write, people would sneak into the park, and on the back of the Green Monster they would write who the F or who the hell is Stan Poppe. And they would write that on the monster, and then somebody in the grounds crew would come and paint over it. And the next day they'd go back and paint it again. Who the hell is Stan Poppe on the wall? And yeah, the very disappointed Red Sox nation that the Red Sox traded Bill Lee for Stan Poppe, who really was just kind of below average middle infielder in the big leagues, and very little pop, kind of a utility guy. And yeah, very bad trade, similar to the trade the Cardinals made. I think the Cardinals got Rick Wise for Steve Carlton, but yeah, Stan Poppe for Bill Lee, very bad trade, and very unpopular in Red Sox nation. The next card is another guy here we love in Las Vegas, C.J. Abrams. Of course, Abrams early in his career, here he is on the Padres, his rookie card, but he was traded, of course, to the Nationals as part of that Juan Soto deal. And yeah, C.J. Abrams was caught in Chicago out like at 8 o'clock in the morning, the day before a 1 o'clock day game in Chicago. He was still at the roulette wheel gambling. And yeah, it was caught on, of course, everything in the casinos on camera. And he was caught still gambling at 8 in the morning from the previous night for a 1 o'clock game. And then the Nationals, of course, they got word of this, and they demoted him to the minor leagues at the end of his first or second year in the big leagues. And yeah, big statement from Washington that they weren't going to put up with that type of behavior, gambling until 8 in the morning in front of a 1 o'clock day game in Chicago. But we appreciate his dedication to the hustle. And C.J. Abrams, big fan of his. And big fan of roulette as well here in Las Vegas. C.J. Abrams. Speaking of the World Baseball Classic, here's another guy who made a name for himself in this year's World Baseball Classic, Jack Cliglione. And he had a big World Baseball Classic. And I think he had a couple home runs in one of the games. And Team Italy, of course, defeated the United States. And was undefeated until they also were defeated by Venezuela, who went on and became the eventual champions. But yeah, Jack had a big World Baseball Classic, one of the leaders for Team Italy. And here he is on a Quad City River Bandits card. And yeah, Quad City River Bandits, they play in Davenport, Iowa. And they have a beautiful stadium that sits right on the Mississippi River. I'll see if I can maybe put a couple of pictures here at the end of this video of their stadium. Just a beautiful stadium. I've been there. It's outstanding. It's just a beautiful stadium right on the banks of the Mississippi River, right next to the bridge connecting the Quad Cities of Davenport, Iowa. And yeah, just a beautiful picture of Jack here playing for the Quad City River Bandits. Let's look at the back of the card. It says Quad City River Bandits. First baseman and pitcher. I didn't know he was considered to be a pitcher as well, but it says Jock, the 6th overall pick in the 2024 Major League Draft, was a former award-winning two-way player who delivers jaw-dropping performances at the dish. The University of Florida alum is a tower of raw power from the left side. Even if he doesn't square it up, he's capable of piling up home runs 400 feet and above. And two-way player. I guess he was like Ohtani, but now he's just concentrating on playing, I believe, right field and DH for the Royals. And a guy with big-time power. I'm looking forward to what he does. Hopefully he can build on that very successful World Baseball Classic with Team Italy. Jack Cliglione. I'm standing next to Bryce Harper, 2 left-handed power bats. Speaking of Davenport, Iowa, here is Jim Davenport. And Jim Davenport played several years for the Giants, one of their all-time leaders and in games played. I believe he was one of the original Giants when they moved to San Francisco from New York. And yeah, I think he's right behind Bonds and Mays and McCovey in games played for the Giants. And you see him here with the gray hair, long big league career. And let's look at the back of the card here. It says, one of the original San Francisco Giants in 1958. Jim set a World Series mark by starting 4 double plays at third base in the 1962 Classic. And yeah, just a long big league career as a third baseman, James Houston Davenport for the San Francisco Giants. I'm going to stand. And the last card of the day is a Tom Bolton. You see him here with the Ferris wheel in the background. That reminds me of the Quad City River Bandits. They have a Ferris wheel as well behind the left field wall in their stadium at Modern Woodman Park on the banks of the Mississippi. Just a beautiful park. If you ever have a chance to make it there, I highly recommend it. And yeah, Tom Bolton. I don't really remember Tom Michael Bolton, but and I don't really know where this park is here with the Ferris wheel behind. If anybody knows where this picture may have been taken, what park this may have been taken, I always like the parks with the Ferris wheel and stuff that's incorporated into the park, but not sure where this one was taken. And Tom Bolton here he is for the Red Sox. And yeah, just a kind of a middle of the road pitcher. Tom Bolton, if anybody knows where that Ferris wheel is, where this may have been taken, let me know. And we appreciate you watching the Vegas 9 for the day. And take care. Baseball's right around the corner. And God bless.